So I definitely need to enjoy and focus on the things I have and see them for what they are, not for what they aren't or what I don't have. As I was trying to reconcile these two things, World Hunger Month and contentment, those two things just didn't seem to go together. And as I thought about it, I asked myself this question, and I really don't know. What's worse? I don't know what's worse. The fact that we have trouble giving to those who are less fortunate, or the fact that we don't appreciate the fortune we have. I don't know what's worse. They're both pathetic. They're both quite embarrassing, but what's worse, to not give what you have to the less fortunate or not appreciate your fortune? So you can see that looking at what we have is a great habit to take us in the direction of contentment. But it can't stop there. Here's the second thing. To become more sheepish, we need to measure our life in terms of blessings, not possessions. The thing I just talked about before, I bet you we all were thinking of things we own, things we have. But it can't stop there. We just sang a bunch of songs about our blessings. We're blessed because God forgave us. He loves us. All those blessings. Max Lucado tells a story about a man in the midst of financial calamity, collapse. It just all falls apart. So he goes and talks to his pastor. And here's the conversation. "I've lost everything," the man said. The pastor said, "Oh, I'm so sorry you've lost your faith." The man said, "No, I still have my faith." The pastor said, "Oh, well, then I'm sorry to hear that you've lost your character." The guy said, "I didn't say that. I still have my character." The pastor said, "Oh, okay, well, then I'm sorry that you've lost your salvation, your relationship with God." The guy was really frustrated. He said, "I didn't lose my salvation." The pastor said, "So you have your faith, your character, and your salvation. It seems to me that you haven't lost anything that really matters." Kind of puts it in perspective. When we look at all the stuff we've accumulated, some of us have done better than others, but no amount of stuff can replace the intangible blessings in life. That's why Jesus said, life is not defined by what you have, even when you have a lot. Isn't that interesting? He doesn't condemn having a lot of stuff. He just says you're not measured by that. I found it really interesting this week. Steve Jobs passed away. You probably all heard, the big Apple guy. And what were people digging up to say about him? Intangible things. They weren't talking about his wealth, really. I mean, we all know that, I guess. They were talking about things he said, quotes, people, things he wanted to do for people. That's how you're measured. So I want to encourage you to look for the presence of those intangible things in your life. Relationships, friendships, love, happiness, listening to good music, reading a good book, learning a new skill. These are things you cannot put on a balance sheet or a profit and loss statement, but they are things that add meaning to your life. You've heard it said, count your blessings. That is a great habit to get into. Here's the lesson it teaches. What I have in God surpasses anything I don't have in this world. We sang that. One day is better with God than thousands without God. Intangible things. One more thing about becoming more sheepish. What you really, really need will come when you really, really need it. Right? Who defines that, right? That's a hard one, I know. You know what I've learned in this kind of situation along these lines? I don't really get as much as I want, but I always seem to get enough. I seem to get what I need. My dad's like that too. He always talks about that. He says, God's just never going to make me rich. I guess he thinks I'm going to blow it on something. But he always gives me what I need. They always have enough. My dad's 85 years old, and he can still say that. How about you, Bill? Oh, have you passed 85?
Yeah.
Bill tells us that he's Methuselah's older brother. He's not quite that old.
I wish you could have been here today.
Oh, he's always got one for you. There have been times when I've almost demanded that God give me something. God do something for me. Demanded. Maybe it's related to my health. God, you're the healer, and I know you can heal me. No, okay. There's probably a fine line between that being faith and that being demanding. Maybe it's with my finances. Maybe it's with the ministry here at Shallowford Falls. It could be with my family. And during those times that I thought I knew what I needed, I thought my prayers weren't being answered the way I expected. But however, in the aftermath, all I got to do is look back over these things, and I can see that God was there, taking care of things that I thought were just missed expectations. He's taking care of me, providing what's best for me, rather than what I thought was expedient. The Bible says this: cast all your cares on him, all your anxieties on him, because he cares for you. Sounds like a shepherd to me. We have the privilege of being able to bring all of our cares, all of our anxieties, all of our fears, everything to God, and make it all a matter of prayer about anything and everything. And we have the comfort of knowing that he will filter through our prayers. We don't pray the right prayers all the time, do we? Anybody here feel like they pray correctly all the time? But God can filter through all that stuff, and he ends up giving us only what's best for us. What a shepherd. What a great shepherd. That's the best thing of having a shepherd. We don't have to worry. We don't have to sweat the daily details of life. God is looking after us, and he will give us what we need when we need it. Now, does that absolve me from taking the responsibility of getting some things done? Of course not. There's a difference between being shepherd-led and spoon-fed. Big difference there. Saying the Lord is my shepherd doesn't mean you live the rest of your life in a high chair. But it does mean that we can live day to day with the confidence that God is watching over us. He's providing what we need, and he knows the hour that we need it. And that's when he's going to give it to us. Now, I promised you some homework. So here it is. Okay, it's not big. It's very simple. Probably won't take any more than 5 minutes a day. A day now, not just 5 minutes. 5 minutes a day. And it's going to help this message of Psalm 23 get into our daily life, infiltrate our very being. All you need is your day planner or your smartphone, maybe even a sticky note will work. And then you're going to do this for 7 days. 4 things. 4 things. First, memorize verse 1. Memorize verse 1. Write it at the top of the page. Put it at the beginning of your smartphone. All right? And say it at least once a day. At least once a day. Every time you remember, just say it. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. I shall not be in want. Second thing you do is say thanks for your things. Say thanks. Just every day, write down about 3 things that you're thankful for that exist right now. All right? Like, my car gets me to work every day. Say thanks for that. My job pays the bills. My reclining chair is comfortable. Just something. 3 things. Put it on there and say thanks for it. Third thing, count your blessings. Each day, 7 days a week, in all 7 days, write 3 things, 3 intangible things that you're thankful for. Now, these aren't things you can buy and sell, but they're blessings God has placed in your life. All right, maybe it's, my wife is a great partner. My husband's a great partner. My daughter has a beautiful smile. I love the music of Beethoven. My backyard is so beautiful. All right, things like that. And then lastly, start a prayer list. Write down, start making a list of things that matter to you, things you feel like you need. And as you write each one down, just say, God, I've written this down, so I'm not going to worry about it because I've presented it to you in prayer. I've cast my care upon you because you care for me. All right? So, if I get it, I get it. If I don't, I've got to assume that I can get along fine without it. So just start that list and know that God will provide. The Lord is our shepherd. He takes care of us. There's no need for us to live our lives in anything less than contentment. And we don't have to feel guilty if there's some contentment in our life. Well, I shouldn't be content because there's poor people I need to give money to, or there's hungry people I need to give food to. Well, yeah. You know what that's really called? We don't do that because of a feeling. We do that out of obedience. Remember last week we talked about that. We don't need to pray about some things like, should I feed the hungry, Lord? He's already said, feed the hungry. We don't need to pray about that. So you see, if we're content, if we're getting contentment in our lives because the Lord is there, there's no guilt trip about that. Be content and feed the hungry. Why can't we do both, right? So, Michelle's back with the kid. So see, we can do it. You can put those 2 things in the program together, right? We can do them both. And that was hard for me to come up with. I had a hard time just like you did. So let's be content in the Lord. Let's do these things, practice these things, and let's give. Let's be givers. Let's be creators of let's come up with ideas of how to help other people in our contentment.